The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond, you're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders.
What is up, boys and girls? Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. It's the one and only the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders, and you are checking out a special edition of the RCWR Show, as it's our Call That Match edition. Now, for those of you that might be new to this, basically what we do in a nutshell is yours truly kicks on back and offers his predictions on who he thinks is going to walk away victorious from each respective pay-per-view. Now, this time around, we have WWE Hell in a Cell. That's going to be here Sunday, and if you aren't able to be at that event, next best thing you can do is check it out live on pay-per-view. It's with great excitement that we get ready to talk about this, and folks, I've been looking at this card pretty much since earlier in the week. Without any further ado, let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. And as always, we appreciate getting feedback from you guys. So for those of you that want to offer your match predictions on who you think might be walking away victorious, possible matches, story arcs that we might see, feel free to interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show, or you can look us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions, or you can comment on YouTube. And hey, if you are spot on, we will definitely show you love on the air this Sunday night for our live RCWR Show post-show. You can catch that simulcast here on Blog Talk Radio and also on YouTube. Special simulcast where we interact with you, the fans, to get your reactions to what you might have liked or disliked from each respected pay-per-view. So make sure you join us for that Hell in a Cell post-show this Sunday. Alright, so first up, we got Los Matadors taking on the Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. Now, Zeb Coulter, he had revealed on Twitter just yesterday, I believe it was Tuesday, that this match was going to be going down, even though WWE has not officially announced it yet. Sounds like maybe this just might be one of those filler type of matches. Am I the only one that's looking at this match and kind of feels as though that there's really no interest at all into this? I mean, other than the Cesaro swing, is there really anything more that I can really take away from this match? I mean, I know we have Zeb Coulter. He's been feuding a little bit with El Torito, but that just really hasn't been enough for me. It's not a knock to both of these tag teams either. Both of these tag teams, they're fairly decent, but this is one for me that's just really not really worth talking about. But you want to talk about who's going to walk away with a victory. I mean, this is your classic case right here of good versus evil. I'm going to have to go with Los Matadors. They've been together for a couple of weeks now. They got the whole little mascot thing that's going on. What better way to have the kids in all euphoria and just being all happy than seeing the little mascot on top of Epico and Primo. Oops, I wasn't supposed to mention their real in-ring names, was I? Oh, well, hey, at least I remember who they actually are, because if you were to ask me what's their real names, their ring names as Los Matadors, I could only tell you Los Matador 1 and Los Matador 2. I really don't know what their ring names are since they've adopted this gimmick, but I'm looking at Los Matadors for the victory. Let's move on from that and let's talk about some of the heavy-hitting matches that's going to be at this pay-per-view event. We got Big E Langston, who's going to be involved in probably one of his first major pushes as a singles wrestler. It was just earlier this year that we saw the NXT wrestler get promoted to the WWE main roster when he was paired up with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. He's had a few singles matches, which seem to pick up momentum each time he's in the ring. We saw WWE officially make him become babyface as he came to the aid of CM Punk last week on SmackDown. And folks, leave it to Paul Heyman to get Big E Langston over. I really love that. Now let's be for real. Big E can't get the title right now, as once again, this is Big E Langston taking on Curtis Axel for the Intercontinental Championship. There's just no way he can get that title off the break, as these two guys, they're just getting started. Paul Heyman, though, he could play a factor as far as being a decoy and setting up Axel to maybe get a foreign object, knock Langston out cold with it to retain his title. This sets up Langston for having a concussion and is taken to the hospital for evaluation. Now, by me setting it up like this, if I were booking this right, this would eliminate the idea of him appearing in the CM Punk versus Heyman and Ryback Hell in a Cell match. Another turn now could be that Langston, he kicks out of the foreign object that clocks him over the head, picks up too much momentum for Axel to send him out the ring to regroup with Heyman as the two leave the ring looking on at Langston. Langston wins by countout. Then again, you could have Langston win by disqualification if the referee sees that foreign object come into play on Axel's end. But Axel needs to walk away with some type of momentum as fans rally behind Langston. So for this, I have to say Curtis Axel retains, but look for Big E to pick up a win via DQ or countout. Let's talk about the Tag Team Championship match as Cody Rhodes and his older brother Goldust team up to take on Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and the Uso brothers. Are they brothers or are they cousins? Well, just to be on the safe side, let's just call it Usos. I actually forgot their blood relation. I swear they're brothers, but I'm probably wrong about that, and I know somebody's going to correct me on that, and I do appreciate that correction in advance. This right here is just an order of elimination for me. Usos, I just don't see them getting the tag titles. No disrespect to them. They're awesome. I love them, but really, we don't need to go that much in depth about this. Honestly, I think when you just cut right down to it, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, newly formed tag team, they gotta get the retain right here. These Rhodes brothers, man, they got wrestling in their blood. These guys have just been freaking amazing since they've been paired up several weeks back. I just am amazed, and I am glued to my television set every time I see these guys come out and they're doing their thing. And I dare say I love seeing them in these tag team matches as opposed to singles competition, even though both of them, they do very well in singles competition. I love seeing them in tag team action. And I'm sure that this is probably going to be a match at Hell in a Cell that's going to have a lot of folks jumping up and down. This is definitely going to be a match that's going to have a lot of WWE fans feeling very invested into it. It's going to be in your face. There's going to be a lot of energy into this match. You know Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, you know they're going to bring it. You know the Usos are going to bring it. This is going to be one of those high-paced type of matches that's not going to disappoint. But at the end of the day, I got Cody Rhodes, Goldust. They're going to retain their tag titles. Now, I feel Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they may continue to try to be a thorn in the side of the Rhodes brothers. And I could see a scenario play out where maybe Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they slide on in there to get another rematch against the brothers for the titles and just a straight up 2-on-2 tag team action. And honestly, I'm all fine for that, but it's not quite time for the Usos to get the belts just yet. It wouldn't even surprise me, folks, if maybe at the next pay-per-view, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns regain the tag titles. But I gotta go with what's hot right now. I gotta go with where the momentum is really swinging right now, and the momentum is really swinging in favor of the Rhodes brothers. Once again, Rhodes brothers retain. Next up, we got CM Punk taking on Ryback and Paul Heyman in a Hell in a Cell match. Now, folks, knowing in the back of our minds that CM Punk is in dire need of some R&R, this match will prove most interesting, I feel. We all know CM Punk, he has been battling some very nagging injuries that right now is going to put him in a position where if he does not take some time off, he could risk serious injury, especially with WrestleMania just around the corner. It's very important that he gets some rest. And honestly, I think that with this Hell in a Cell match that's going on, this is going to put CM Punk on the shelf for a couple of months. And honestly, there's a couple of different scenarios that could play out with this. You know, they may say that it's a Hell in a Cell match and that basically nobody can escape it and blah this, blah that. You know, at some shape or form, at some point during those Hell in a Cell matches, the wrestlers, they always find their way out of it. And honestly, I think this is going to be one of those type of matches where Ryback is really going to be made to stand out strong, I feel. Think back to last year. Remember, this same time last year, CM Punk was taking on Ryback for the WWE title. Time for Ryback to pick up a W, if you will. And honestly, what better way to cash in than cashing in on this Hell in a Cell? I think it's going to be one of those type of cat and mouse type of matches. I think Ryback is going to do everything he can to fight the good fight, not really have Paul Heyman get involved. Not until some serious work has been done to CM Punk to the point where he tags in Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's able to get in his licks and all that, but then I can picture CM Punk making like a little bit of a comeback. Ryback tries to get involved and some weird spot goes on where maybe CM Punk is able to get a hold of some type of a weapon or maybe he exposes a turnbuckle or something like that. He exposes padding or something and he's able to take Ryback out of commission. This would thus set him up to get his hands on Paul Heyman. And from here, this is where the real cat and mouse game comes into play. I can see a scenario playing out where Paul Heyman, he somehow manages to escape the cage and he basically climbs to the top of it. CM Punk, he's taking the fight to him. He's giving chase. He has him where he wants him. Paul Heyman, he's begging CM Punk, just pleading with him. Ryback just, by this time, he's recuperated. And I could see him just assaulting the hell out of CM Punk. Maybe it could be a situation where Ryback does a couple of power bombs to CM Punk as they're on top of that steel cage. And one of those last power bombs sends him crashing through the steel cage ceiling onto the canvas inside the ring. Everybody just has a mark out moment, the fans included, as Ryback climbs down there, pins CM Punk, 1, 2, 3, that is it. And CM Punk is off television for the next couple of weeks. Now, in the meantime, as you have all this go down, could be a scenario playing out where Paul Heyman, Ryback, along with Curtis Axel, they're basically going to continue their reign in the WWE for a little bit. Now, I'm sure you guys have probably seen the reports that's out there that it sounds as though we may be seeing some type of a match go down between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. And I bring up Brock Lesnar because let's not forget Brock Lesnar is a Paul Heyman guy as well. So, you know, WWE, they've always been toying with that idea of either they can do Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker or Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. And honestly, I think the timing is right. You know, you let Curtis Axel, Ryback, Paul Heyman, you let them do their thing for a couple of months. Let Curtis Axel defend the IC title a little bit. Let Ryback take on a couple of guys, a couple of mid-carders. This will buy everybody enough time until CM Punk can come back, and maybe that way, once CM Punk does get ready to come back, maybe as early as the Royal Rumble, or maybe the night after Royal Rumble. Personally, I would love for CM Punk to come back in time for the Royal Rumble, because I would like to see him extract revenge on Ryback and Paul Heyman, and try to see to it that Ryback doesn't win the Royal Rumble for a shot at WrestleMania for that respected title, the WWE or the World Heavyweight title. And maybe we could see a scenario play out where, and I don't know how many fans in particular care about this, or if they would feel invested into it, but I personally wouldn't mind seeing Ryback take on CM Punk at WrestleMania. Just marinate on that. Let me know what you guys think. But as far as this night goes, I'm seeing CM Punk lose at the hands of Ryback and Paul Heyman. And bear in mind, I wouldn't be too surprised if Curtis Axel may try to get involved in this match as well. As I mentioned, the action is going to go outside the ring. I'm telling you, CM Punk, he's going to be set up big time right here. Let's move on now to our next match. We got AJ Lee taking on Brie Bella for the Divas title. You know, Brie has really been coming into her own the past several weeks. Actually, both Bella twins are, but I've been exceptionally pleased with Brie Bella. This is a match right here where I think it will surprise a majority of fans, especially the ones that always want to crap on the Divas division. I think they'll be very surprised by this match, because I think it's going to be that damn good. Now, AJ has Tamina in her corner. Brie, of course, has her sister, Nikki Bella. With the Bellas being looked at as the baby faces, I really wouldn't want to see any twin magic or dirty tactics going on from their end. I think all that's going to be coming from Tamina. If I was booking this, I'd have Tamina interfere right when things are starting to pop, which would have Nikki going at it outside the ring. Basically, Nikki and Tamina, they would be going at it. Now, just like what had went down at last month's pay-per-view, we could see Tamina once again have her hands on Nikki, but this time around, Brie goes outside, fights the good fight with Tamina. Now, pretty much as soon as Tamina hits Brie, the referee has no choice but to throw the match out. Brie wins, but does not get the title. As we know, the title can't exchange hands on a disqualification. So both twins, they could double team on Tamina. AJ, this is basically done to make them really come off as strong baby faces. Now, I'm not going to forget what I said a couple of weeks ago, as I'm still picturing the Bellas breaking up, and I can't believe that this is now supposedly making wrestling news, that rumors says that the Bella twins are possibly going to be broken up. Look, folks, if you've been listening to us for a good minute, you know that we had originally put that idea out there last time around on our Call That Match piece, and there's a beautiful thing called social media. We have that out there, so you guys that are subscribed to us on YouTube, you know you can easily pull it up. You guys that's listening on Blog Talk, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, you guys know you can pull it up. It's out there. I dare say you can go as far back as the last Call That Match edition we did for a WWE pay-per-view. We definitely had covered it there. But I think, honestly, what needs to happen, yeah, I still want to see the Bellas break up, but I think in the meantime, it would be awesome to see them team up at the next pay-per-view to face Tamina and AJ in a tag match. Another option would be to let these four girls go at it for the Divas title, just to make this really interesting. Tamina, of course, she wouldn't care about the title, as she would just be there to help AJ. But, hey, that's an entirely different story. Let's talk about this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I've got Brie Bella winning via DQ. Time for two important matches that's going to close out this year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. First off, Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena. this is a match that will prove most interesting. There's a lot that can be said about this match depending on the outcome. John Cena, the comeback kid, returns from tricep surgery a few months early. The timing couldn't come at a better moment right now for WWE, as there's no Sheamus, Mark Henry, Rey Mysterio, Wade Barrett, RVD. WWE needs all the help it can get right now in the top babyface department. Like him or hate him, John Cena draws for WWE. With that being said, does he walk out of Hell in a Cell as the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Let's break this down. To put the title on him in his first match back would be a slap in the face to Alberto Del Rio, who's had the title these past several months. Factor in the number of people that he's beaten for the title, all to retain. All of a sudden, you have him drop it to John Cena. That makes him lose credibility as champion and makes him come off as a B-rated wrestler who was just serving as a seat warmer for Cena. There's two options we can go here with this one, folks. One being, you can let Del Rio win, retain by hook or crook. This basically sets up a ongoing feud with Cena, Alberto Del Rio, that could possibly conclude at the next pay-per-view, that could see John Cena get the title. Or another option that could be done right here is the Damien Sandow effect. We could see a scenario play out where John Cena, he brings his best A game to Alberto Del Rio, but Del Rio, he's just barely able to escape with his title. A very fatigued Del Rio at that. Sandow, he could come into play right here depending on how the match is set up. Now, I could see a scenario play out where while the referee is distracted, Alberto Del Rio, who is just almost about to run out of steam, I can see him doing some shady stuff while he has the referee distracted. I could see him maybe loosening up a turnbuckle padding, or maybe he digs into his trunks and he pulls out some knucks, some steel knucks, and he just wham, hits John Cena with it while the referee is still distracted, puts those brass knuckles into his trunks, goes for the pin. He barely escapes. Then we see Alberto Del Rio as he's trying to celebrate his victory. We see Damien Sandow come out. He cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Is this the night that you make Damien Sandow a World Heavyweight Champion? It would be very, very exciting times for that World Heavyweight Championship, but I don't quite think WWE would be willing to go in that direction just yet. But if I was booking it, this is the scenario that I would have play out. And honestly, I would have Alberto Del Rio defeat Damien Sandow. I would let Damien Sandow be the second person ever in Money in the Bank history to cash in the briefcase and fail. So, what would this mean for Damien Sandow? Well, he's going to have to go back to the basics. I remember that WWE, there was a little bit of rumblings there that they were possibly thinking about turning Damien Sandow into a babyface. As we saw past couple of weeks, there's just been a little slight hint of that. What better way to maybe have Damien Sandow go the babyface route than make him come off a bit humble after he cashed in that Money in the Bank briefcase and failed? Maybe this could have him have a second change of heart, if you will. That's one scenario that could kind of play out right here. I'm jumping a little bit too far ahead, but I'm just giving you guys a little bit of stuff to think about. We'll dive more into it on our Hell in a Cell post show, but there's a couple of different directions that they could go right here. But let's just cut through all that smoke and let's just look at this match for what it's worth. honestly, if I'm booking this, I'm gonna have Alberto Del Rio go over John Cena. To have that doubt go into WWE Raw, to have the John Cena fans be concerned about what's going on with the C Nation leader, I think that would generate a little bit of buzz, don't you? I think that would make great TV. John Cena comes out, he's trying to explain what had happened, then to have Alberto Del Rio come out, cut one badass heel promo. This could kind of make the fans rally in favor of John Cena even more, as he wants to try to get another rematch because he knows that Del Rio had cheated and he wants another shot at him for the belt. Yeah, I can see definitely something like this going on. I think it would be great television. But for this night, Del Rio, I got to see him go over John Cena. Like I said, for Cena to get the belt, you would just really have the WWE fans. I could just imagine them right now, just how upset they would be that John Cena just comes in, first match back, and he gets a championship. And we won't be hearing the end of John Cena sucks. John Cena is shoved down our throats once again. I can just imagine it right now. I know WWE wants to embrace their poster child, but they've got to do a slow injection of John Cena. They can't go full blown just yet. One more match, Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title with special guest referee HBK, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. This is a match right here. Man, who'd have thought 2+ months and we still do not have a WWE champion? That is just poof. Mind-boggling when I hear that. No doubt this is a match that most people are going to be looking at and they're going to be very, very invested into. I think no matter how you look at this particular match, I think Randy Orton is going to walk out with the WWE title. I think he will be your new WWE champion. I feel that Daniel Bryan still needs to chase after the belt just a little bit longer. Now, how they're going to tell this story, though, that's an entirely different thing. Let's look at it from that Shawn Michaels perspective. Remember, Shawn Michaels, he trained Daniel Bryan. He's had numerous feuds with Randy Orton. He's good friends with Triple H. This is one of those matches where you got to think about the finish. And honestly, I think what's probably going to end up happening is we're probably going to maybe see Big Show come out. Actually, no. I won't even bring up Big Show yet. I think what's actually going to happen first is we're going to see Triple H, Stephanie McMahon come out. I think Triple H is going to try to do everything in his power to punk Shawn Michaels into counting in favor of Randy Orton to make sure that he walks out as the new face of the WWE. And I can picture Shawn Michaels standing his ground, refusing to do it. I can picture Stephanie McMahon trying to talk with him, but he's not budging. He's not going to do it. And he's just going to try to call the match for what it's worth. He's going to try to call it straight down the middle. Now, another scenario that I can see playing out as this is all going on, I can see a very passionate and adamant Triple H that starts getting physical with Hunter, right down to the point where Shawn Michaels, he has no choice but to deliver sweet chin music to Triple H. Now, we all know that the way Shawn Michaels is feeling right now with Triple H, it's kind of like, Hunter, what happened to you? What happened to the guy that I used to roll with in DX? Because whoever that guy was, he was cool. This new guy behind the suit, not really sure what to make of him. You're still my best friend, but man, where's your sense of humor? Where's your personality? What happened to you? You've changed, basically, is what Shawn Michaels is saying to Triple H. So I could see a scenario playing out where Shawn Michaels just does that super kick to Triple H, and that just takes him out And I think we could also see Big Show maybe coming down here trying to lend a hand. I could picture Big Show trying to get his hands on Triple H, trying to make sure that everything gets balanced out. I could even see a scenario play out where if I was doing this right, you could even have the Shield members come out, and we see Daniel Bryan. He's trying to do everything he can to fight those guys off. Big Show's trying to do everything he can to help him. And ultimately, though, when it's all said and done, I would love to see a scenario play out where Big Show, he tries to get involved in this match to help out Daniel Bryan, tries to deliver WMD, but instead of it connecting to Randy Orton, it connects to Daniel Bryan and Shawn Michaels. Ooh, he has no choice but to count the 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton wins the WWE title. That's one hell of a scenario that I see playing out. But when it's all said and done, there's going to be a lot of players involved in this match. And with the rumblings that Vince McMahon may be returning as early as Monday's WWE Raw, this is really a good way to really set things off. But for Hell in a Cell on this night, I'm definitely seeing Randy Orton walking out as the WWE champion. And I said this last month, but I can't stress it enough. I think it only serves right to see Daniel Bryan and Big Show feud for a little bit while Daniel Bryan tries to fight his way back to the WWE title. I think that Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, I think that they need a breather right now, because I think a scenario needs to play out where I think fans will need to be re-energized with Daniel Bryan chasing after the WWE title. And I think the biggest way that you can have Daniel Bryan get that energy back is by having him win the 2014 Royal Rumble, advance to WrestleMania, challenge Randy Orton for the WWE title. I think that's what's going to be happening. But for right now, you got to have Randy Orton go in as the WWE champion. That's how you got to end the night for Hell in a Cell. And that, folks, is all the matches. Let's go ahead. Let's take it from the top. Let's work our way down to the bottom. So, we got Los Matadors going over Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. Big E Langston will pick up a victory over Curtis Axel, but I'm looking at either by disqualification or by count out. Curtis Axel will still retain the title. Rhodes Brothers will retain their titles over Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. Ryback, Paul Heyman, they will shock the WWE Universe with the way that they will butcher the hell out of CM Punk. AJ Lee will retain her Divas Championship over Brie Bella with a little bit of help from Tamina Snuka. But look for some shenanigans to go down in this match. As I mentioned earlier, do not be surprised if you see Brie Bella possibly win by disqualification. Alberto Del Rio takes on John Cena for the World Heavyweight title. This is too close to call, folks, but I'm looking at Alberto Del Rio to retain. He needs it. It's very important right now. You gotta have him look like a strong champion. Otherwise, to see him lose to a returning John Cena first night back in WWE at Hell in a Cell, for him to get the World Heavyweight title, it just really makes Del Rio come off like a joke. And for the WWE title, a lot of players are going to be involved in this particular match. A lot of shenanigans is going to go down. But when it's all said and done, the smoke and the mirrors is all taken away. Randy Orton will be your WWE champion. And folks, that's the way I am looking at it. Hey, what are your match predictions? Let us know right now. Hit us up on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And hey, if you are spot on, we will show you love when we are on the air this Sunday night for the RCWR post show, as we'll be covering Fallout from Sunday's WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We're going to have great live fan reactions on that post show, which you'll be able to catch at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. And also on here on YouTube. For those of you that's going to be checking this out right about now, and you're checking this out on YouTube, that post show will be here on YouTube as well. So make sure you join us. We'll have the chat room open. Phone lines will be open at 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. You'll be able to call in, listen to the prompts, get yourself live on the air, and let's talk WWE Hell in a Cell this Sunday. I am the one and only, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. Everybody, be safe and be kind to one another. Thank you for checking out this month's edition of the RCWR show. Call that match.